I am thrilled to introduce the wonderful Roberta Cooper. She is an award-winning cellist who is renowned for her talent in a wide range of musical styles. Her father, Erwin Cooper, was a jazz drummer and percussionist who played in hundreds of Broadway shows. She was a scholarship student at the Juilliard School, where she earned her bachelor's and master's degrees and won the William Henderson Prize for Outstanding Achievement. She has performed around the world in symphonies, trios, and string quartets. Ms. Cooper is the assistant principal cellist of the American Symphony Orchestra, the American Composers Orchestra, and the Westchester Philharmonic. She has performed in the Berlin Philharmonic, the Metropolitan Opera Orchestra, the Chautauqua Festival Orchestra, the Brooklyn Philharmonic, the New York City Opera, and the ballet orchestras of both the New York City Ballet and American Ballet Theater. She was also a featured soloist on many popular artists' albums, including Linda Ronstadt's Hummin to Myself, an album of jazz standards featuring lots of jazz legends. So, Roberta,
Hi, Shari.
she's also my cousin. How has your passion for contemporary music impacted your classical career?
Okay, well, first, it's had a huge effect, and I am assuming by what you call contemporary, you mean contemporary pop or
Yes.
jazz or rock or something, not classical. Okay, because
Right.
that's a genre that I'm interested in as well. I think it's had a very big effect on my classical playing and how I hear and my choices of repertoire. And it's helped me in many areas I would never have expected. It makes certain things come much easier to me than it would have if I had no background in different kinds of music, which unfortunately a lot of my peers don't have that in their background. They only studied classical music and they barely know any other genres. So I think that what I used to think was maybe diluted for me has actually become a big strength for me.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's it. Basically, that I think it's helped me understand how to play various things that would be more difficult without the knowledge and experience.
And so with peers at Juilliard, like Yo-Yo Ma and other people,
Right.
because I'm so interested in how these kinds of pressures impact our sense of self. How was it for you to go to Juilliard, with all those amazing students along with yourself?
Yeah, well, I started at Juilliard at age 12 on the Saturday program for kids that were not, that were in high school or middle school, what they call middle school. And for me, it was a real eye-opening experience to have people like Yo-Yo Ma be the standard, because most of us came from our little suburban or urban high schools or middle schools, and we were the stars where we came from. And then suddenly you see, oh, wow, the standard goes way, way up here, and you know what good is. So you can't fool yourself.
Mm.
And I think as difficult as that is for a kid, it can also be very empowering, because you know that you can take your own path. You may not get to the same place as this other person, but you know what good is. And I think that's very important.
And do you think that that was a common way to deal with this kind of stress?
Some people had serious emotional problems with the
Yeah.
competition and the stress. Others, just had a stronger sense of self and could handle being comparing themselves. And to be honest, the teachers in those days were not all warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
They compared students right to each other's faces and
Oh,
were insulting. There was a lot of negativity in those days as well. It wasn't a warm and fuzzy way to learn always, but
wow.
I think it was, in retrospect, I think it was very good for me to have those expectations of excellence,
Wow.
that I knew where I had to get to.
I would not have lasted in that for 5 minutes.
There were hard times. There were definitely hard times, where many, both myself and my peers, felt that what's the point? You hear somebody like on that level that's ready for a career at 16 years old, and you think, well, what do I have to offer? And the only way that you can find out is by keeping on chipping away and believe in something in yourself that got you to wherever you are.
Mm.
And I think that, that involves being emotionally mature at some point and understanding that you do have a gift. It may not be the same gift as someone else, but there's something important about what you do, and you learn how to communicate it. And
Wow.
that was a good lesson for me.
That's kind of all we need to know.
Yeah, it's kind of everybody. It's very similar for anyone in any field. You have to believe in something that you have.
So you played with Sting, Aretha
Mhm.
Franklin, Billy
Yeah,
Joel, Linda Ronstadt.
I forgot KD Lang. That should be on that list.
Oh,
That was
God,
my
I
favorite.
love Katie Lang.
Yeah.
So have you ever been actually intimidated by someone you were working with? Has it gotten in the way? What was that like?
Well, I do want to talk about the Linda Ronstadt recording because we spent a lot of time with her, and it was not a big section. I was the only cello. There was cello, violin, piano, bass, and then some saxophones for other tunes. But it was the spotlight was very much on us, and I felt very relaxed around her very quickly because she was a wonderful person. She is a wonderful person, fantastic musician. And then she confided in me during a lunch break or when we were sitting talking that she was completely intimidated by us because she didn't read music,
Mhm.
which, was a eye opener for me as well, because I was intimidated by her fame and her tremendous gift. And look at that. She's intimidated by me. I was taken aback by that.
So generous for her to share that. And
Yeah,
what happens, what bonding, what relief, what realization comes from realizing that everybody is still a person with all those insecurities and trying to work through what it is to be in competition on the highest level.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. No, that's absolutely true. And, I've played many, many times with orchestras with famous conductors who mess up terribly, and just watching the way they handle it. The ones that say, oops, sorry, are so much more to me human than the
Yeah.
ones that cover it up and try to blame somebody else. And that happens the majority of the time, especially with conductors who
Wow.
seem to need to be in control all the time. So the ones that are, I find, the most interesting are the ones that are more vulnerable, whether it's a mistake or they ask you for your opinion. What do you think we should do here?
Exactly. Well, vulnerability is the ironic door to all bonding,
Yeah,
uh, including with yourself, to have to go through those questions and realizations and trying to understand where you fit in your world. We all have,
exactly.
and it's dynamic, it's always changing.
Right. Right. And I see it all the time when I play with a new group of people that I haven't played with before. I generally find the people that are the most interesting musicians are the ones that are the least obnoxious about
Yeah.
who they and are just much more interested in making an experience out of this and learning
Mm.
something from other people in the room. That seems to be something that I've found to be the case.
Fantastic. Well, this is a perfect place to take a break